You have discovered the Marry Your Best Friend podcast. This is episode 5. I'm John, and I'm seated next to my beautiful wife of 33 years. 33 years. It just feels like 35. But anyway, I'm sitting next to Suzanne, and, well, we both own Spanx. How's that for an intro? We both own Spanx.
Yeah, yours were the most surprising.
Well, heck.
I'm doing laundry and I'm folding up thinking, are these mine or are these his? And lo and behold, they were yours.
Well, first off,
scary.
To
find in the laundry.
This was years ago when Spanx first came out for men, and I decided why not go ahead and try them out. And I don't know how you women do it, because I bought a pair of underwear and a t-shirt. Spanx.
That t-shirt is tiny too.
Well, first off, I had to get you to pull it off of me, because it was like I was like one of those croissant roll things that you have to hit on the counter.
Yep. You were busted biscuits, man.
Oh my Lord, and I was sweating like crazy. I've only worn it like once, but.
I have found it in the laundry more than once.
Well, probably because there was nothing. I have one pair of underwear that I wear that every time it happens, you know that I have no other pairs of underwear.
And
Same thing with the Spanx t-shirt.
Away.
Well,
Just
because if I did, then I would have no underwear. Like, that's the last pair that tells you, hey, he's out of underwear. So the Spanx t-shirt is sometimes
I watched you coming out of church the other day, and you were pulling up those pants, and I was like, oh, dude's got his last pair of underwear on.
Yeah, thanks a lot. So that's what you did on Sunday afternoon. But anyway, the Spanx bottoms kind of sucked in, and they were real tight and hot, and I don't know how you do it, man. And then I put on that shirt, and I had to crawl out of it. I mean, you had to pull that thing off of me. And I think it's payback that I remember when we first got married. This has nothing to do about, well, it's still body. I think this episode is going to be about body image.
Oh, you're changing it now? Okay.
Well, it's not just about being fat, but we
both have Spanx, and we're fat too. You're adding fat.
When we first got married, you were teaching school, and somehow I had more schedule flexibility. And
shocker.
Yeah, I know. But a new bra was coming.
The Wonder Bra.
It was the Wonder Bra, and they made news that it was coming to Nashville.
Oh man, me and my girlfriends, we were all a Twitter about it.
Before
Twitter.
You couldn't wait to get the Wonder Bra, and it was going to be for sale at Dillard's at like 10 o'clock on Thursday, whatever it was. But I said I would go down.
It was on the news and everything.
Well, exactly, because I was on it. So here's the thing. You sent me to Dillard's at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday or something like that to buy a Wonder Bra. And it was a big news in Nashville, Tennessee. This is before all the tourists moved to Nashville. Well, some tourists, but not like all the state of California.
Yeah, this is back when Nashville was fun.
And they had a Dillard's. And I went
still have Dillard's.
Well, I went to the shopping mall, and I'm standing in line with these like 90 other women, and I'm like number 20.
How did I ever coax you to do this?
I have no idea. I had to
It's expensive too.
I had to memorize what your bra size was at that time.
A little different now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. 3 kids kind of helped me out there, but that's a whole nother episode. How we went from 34A to now. But and I like now a whole lot better. But I remember you told me your size, and like the news came out that day, and they started at the front of the line and started scrolling all the way back. Well, the problem is, any woman who's at the store buying a bra, especially the Wonder Bra that's supposed to give you, because you guys were all saying, who was the model that was the model?
I don't remember.
It's like Kate Moss or somebody like that.
Kate Moss? No, she would never do that.
It was somebody who you were like,
I don't know.
You and Lisa and all the other girls were like, oh my gosh, it gave her boobs. She has cleavage. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I know this. And somehow I get coaxed into going to Dillard's at 10 o'clock. So the news camera shows the Wonder Bra on sale and all this kind of stuff. And then it starts panning the crowd. Well, if you're a woman standing at Dillard's buying the Wonder Bra that's supposed to give you cleavage, are you showing your face? Probably not. They were all looking down. And so the camera scrolls, and you see
it was a different world.
Woman
back
looking
then
down, back a woman,
90s.
woman looking down, woman not showing her face.
And then you?
There's John.
You show up at the most
and this was before
crazy moments.
This was before gender identity was cool, or people who identify as women.
Gosh, now it would just be normal, wouldn't it?
Well, now half the line would be men buying the Wonder Bra, but and go into the unisex bathroom and all.
Let me tell you, it gave those of us with nothing. It gave us something, and now I got a whole lot of something, and I wish I had nothing.
Well, I think anybody who is of a certain age, there are certain people who are blessed genetically to be thin. Earlier this week, I was with a friend of mine from college, Nancy, and I looked at her, and she's always been athletic. She always worked out, and she gave me a tour of her house, and we went up to her top floor.
She have a workout room.
Oh my Lord! She has like the screen, the mirror, she's got.
She's that mirror where you look in and people are working out. I don't think I want people looking at me that close.
Well, they can't see. It's not like mirror on the wall, but anyway, she had like this
really
massive
they can't
room.
see you. It's just an app, isn't it?
All I know is that she had a workout room. You and I have never had a workout room.
Oh, goodness, no. I bought Julianne last week, I bought her this little bicycle thing that you just do with your feet, like for her, because she's got some blood pressure issues. And I tried it out for like 5 minutes, and I was winded.
Well,
I was very, very sad.
We've never had the space for a gym, but I will tell you, my dad...
That's a good excuse.
My dad was a marathoner. He started running when he was about 45 or 50 and started jogging. This is back in Atlanta, Georgia, and he started jogging. And he couldn't jog to the stop sign at the end of the neighborhood, but then he did, and then he made it to a mile, and then 2 miles. And I remember he ran his first race and his first marathon, and then he became so excited about being a runner that he was evangelistic about it. And he wanted everybody to run. And he one time invited my mom to go up on vacation to New Hampshire for a weekend getaway. And they show up, and my mom was so excited about going to a bed and breakfast or like this hotel New Hampshire type of a place.
What year was this?
I don't know. It was when they lived in Connecticut.
But
he
90s.
took her up to Connecticut, or took her up to New Hampshire. And they show up, and she sees the Welcome Runners sign. And it was a Frank Shorter weekend that he had signed him up for. And he made it sound like it was going to be a romantic weekend, but it's really a running weekend. But the thing I was going to tell you, though, my dad was so loving about running, he wanted me to run. And I remember one time we were sitting looking at each other, and he said, John, you realize you're the fattest person in our family?
It wasn't just you guys sitting looking at each other. You were at your sister's house, and it was Christmas. We were eating all the things.
Well,
the things.
He said, John, do you realize you're the fattest person in the family? And most people would have stopped right there. And he said, think about it. Your brother, he rides his bike. He's thin. Your sister, she looks great. She's thin. Your mom, she walks. And you're the fattest one in our family. Actually, if we go to cousins, we can start getting... So he started going through this whole thing. And I was like, Dad, I get it. And so the next day, you're right, it was Christmas, because it was like right after Christmas.
Yeah, because we had eaten all.
My dad said, I want to take you to my store.
Pies.
He went to Luke's Running Store. This is not an ad for Luke's, but there was a place in Dallas called Luke's Running Store. And we walk in there. It's like over on Greenville Avenue. And we walk in, and my dad sees his salesperson on the other side of the store. And so he yells.
Do you have a personal salesperson, like his favorite guy
or something? He knows everybody. You know, my dad made friends with everybody. But anyway, Luke's has wood floors, high ceiling, big room. We walk in, and he sees his buddy over there. He goes, hey, Dave, yells across the store. Hey, Dave, what kind of shoes would you get a beginning runner who's fat and out of shape? My son. Everybody in the store kind of turns and looks, and Dave goes, I'm thinking the 626. He goes, yeah, New Balance 626. That's a good one. Bring me a pair of those in a size that he'll wear. And so
the Crusher.
You remember that?
I remember.
He called it the Crusher.
The Crusher. That is forever embedded in my mind.
It was great, because then I'm sitting there, and my dad's like, yeah, Frank knows his business, because the 626 is the Crusher, and it'll support your weight. So needless to say, I had the best pair of shoes to mow my grass. And I got them one time. They got too green, and my dad realized I wasn't wearing them. And my dad then became
to do the proper thing. You weren't wearing them to do the proper thing.
He then became a customer of Roadrunner Sports. And I remember going to the mail one day and opening up a box that was a shoe box. I knew it was a shoe box because of your deliveries that come in the mailbox, but I saw it was a shoe box addressed to me, and it was from Roadrunner Sports, a place we had never ordered anything from. And I opened up the box.
And why would we?
I opened up the box, and inside the note, my dad writes, or they're like, the little gift message, wear these, they'll support your weight better.
Relentless.
Yeah. So needless to say, my dad sent me like 3 pairs of running shoes.
You have definitely like been up and down and up and down and up and down on the weight scale. I have either just been 10-year-old boy skinny or fat.
Well, I do have thin suits, and I have medium suits, and I have fat suits.
Yeah. Okay. So last night you were showing me something, and you go, "Yeah, this is my medium."
Coat. Yeah, I got a new sport coat, and I was all excited. First off, I have the greatest friend who.
Again, are we going to have a commercial?
This is not a commercial. This is
Okay.
me plugging for my friend
plugging for your
Brian
friend.
Daly,
Okay.
because Brian Daly,
He is pretty great.
for over 30 years, he has helped outfit me in suits and ties and shirts and stuff. Back when I couldn't afford anything, he always gave things to me on his discount. Or actually, one time
We were the
first
best dressed poor people in town.
Oh my Lord. I don't know if you remember this. I had a suit that was a good $10,000 suit when we lived in Nashville. And Brian, he met me. I was in the music business and I didn't have any clothes.
You
at
got
all.
clothes from Brian when we lived in
We
Nashville?
lived in Nashville. He was coming to the Marriott Hotel. So
this is
my
news
friend
to
Brian
me.
Daly. My friend Brian Daly married like one of my best friends from high school, Carla, and they're no longer together. But we still have friends with both of them. But Brian, we kept Brian. But
I think we kept
Brian,
too.
we kept Carla too. But anyway, Brian's engaged.
Congratulations to Brian.
We'll talk about that sometime. But so Brian came to Nashville. He was with a company called Tom James, and they do custom clothing and stuff like that. And their real focus is on building relationships with business leaders and different folks. And,
Yeah, and?
anyway, he's looking at me, and he takes pity on me. And he looks at me and says, "Hey, John, I've got time tomorrow afternoon. Why don't I come by your office?" I was like, "Come on by, Brian."
He's making time
So,
for you
he
because
is.
you look so
I
sad
did.
in your
Well,
express jacket.
Hold on,
Express
no.
for men.
This was when. Hold on, I was at the Christian Music. I was at Word. I think we were just about to start Goatee, so I was most likely wearing either Birkenstocks, a hoodie, Birkenstocks, and maybe a Carhartt jacket or something like that.
You were thin though when you were at Goatee.
Thank you for reminding me of that. But anyway, so
I
he
would
came.
rather
He came
have
by
fat,
the office.
happy John
He
than
came by
thin,
the
unhappy
office.
John.
He measured me up. He says, "John, I'm going to gift you a suit." And he gave me a suit and he gave me a sport coat, and it was this gorgeous blue pinstripe suit.
How do I not remember this?
It had the silk lining all in the pants and inside the jacket, and I mean literally it's a $10,000 suit. And I said, "Brian, this is the best thing I've ever owned in my life." And I felt like just this wealthy guy. And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "The client that ordered that's no longer with us." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he goes, I'm thinking, "What do you mean no longer with us?" 'Cause
Is this another Dodge Dart story?
no, nothing about being dead. The guy was in prison, so it was like a gangster type guy from Detroit that ordered this beautiful blue pinstripe suit. Yeah, so my first real blue fancy suit was a gangster. But,
I did not know.
Yeah.
that.
I still have it upstairs. I'll show it to you.
Is it in the? It's in the thin closet.
Yeah,
then
well,
I guess
very
because you
thin.
were super thin during that.
Yeah, so
That's
I
why
had.
you were like 30 years old.
Yeah, thanks. I still have those clothes though. I still have that sport coat. But anyway,
Somebody
so
needs to clean out the closet upstairs.
back to the story of Brian. Brian is such a great customer service salesperson that every time you lose weight, he always says, "Give me your old suits. I'll take them all up." And he's done that multiple times. He's like, "John, I'm so proud of you for losing weight. Just give me your suits and I'll make them. I'll make them your size." And I do, and I wear them for about a month. And then when I
and
gain
then
my
you're
weight,
sad because
then I
they
gain the
don't
weight
fit.
back.
Yeah.
No, then I gain the weight back, and that's Brian's genius. He knows that he's going to sell me another suit. So all my new suits fit me.
I don't have stuff taken in or let out. I just buy new stuff.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Well, I do have thin suits. I have fat suits.
So
Now,
last night I
speaking of
asked you
fat-
about that. Well, I asked you about that jacket, and you said, "Oh, it's a medium," and I thought you meant like you were in a medium, and you said, "No, it's my medium suit."
Yeah.
So you have suits that go in categories: small,
do.
medium, and large.
I do, and I also have belts that you can tell which notch I'm in of which way I'm going. But don't look at me like it's my. I have overheard you when you're talking to a friend.
Overheard. Okay.
Yes, because I have struggled
Eavesdropper.
to lose weight. I have worked hard at it. I've done Zumba.
You have?
Yeah, and I did Zumba to lose a lot of weight and had a great time doing that.
You met our good friend Amy doing Zumba.
I met so many good friends doing Zumba. Met Willa and
All ladies.
they're my friends. First off, when you go to Zumba was a thing a few years ago. And before that, it was jazzercise. Before that was something else. But I joined a Zumba class, and I loved it. It's perfect for a guy like me who has ADD, because all you have to do is follow the woman on stage. And it's like you don't have time
Where
to
did
think
you
about anything.
stand in the row of women? Where did you
Well,
stand?
first off, there's Zumba rules, because like the people in the front row, at least when I went, people in the front row, you didn't just show up and go to the
You
front
earned
row.
that spot.
Yeah, and I would always go to the back where the nurses were, and I would always ask. I'd say, "Are you a nurse?" "No, I'm doing something." "Are you a nurse?" "No, I'm a realtor." "Are you a nurse?" Finally, I'd find the nurse, and the nurses always kind of hang together. I'd say, "I'm going to just go with you guys." And I remember telling him, "Hey, if I hit the ground, I'm not resting." Don't walk over me. Don't dance. Don't think it's like you take care of me. So I always found my crowd at the Zumba girls. But Zumba was awesome. I lost weight. Every time I've done Zumba, I have lost weight.
I'm not doing Zumba.
Well, but I've met some incredible people and lost weight every time I did it. And then met my dear friend Amy. You stole Amy.
I love Amy.
I know. But her Zumba class was a little too advanced for me because you have to start at remedial Zumba. So when I went to Kendra, I could keep up. And then Karen Mock Grinder, she'd come over there and Karen gets you all pumped up and I had a great time. And then I made it to Amy's class. And then when Zumba kind of went away, I remember I joined Sisters Fitness. Remember that? That was a fun
I'm so
Saturday.
sad for you right now.
You're sad for me.
I'm sad for you.
Well, I do anything to lose weight. But I remember working hard, losing weight, and then I was in the other room eating my oatmeal or whatever it was.
You were overhearing me? I mean, I
hear you at the kitchen table and you're talking to one of your friends and you literally say, yeah, well, I like to fatten them up like a calf.
I don't know. No lady's going to take you.
You are a Southern cook. What do you mean by I like to fatten him up like a calf?
Because then you're going to stay here. When you lose weight, then you're super well. You're super cute, and you might be stolen away.
Yeah. So your retention tactic has nothing to do with love or commitment or any of that stuff.
I'm keeping you in the husband pen. That's where you're going.
You know the dad bod is fashionable.
The dad bod is fashionable. I think I have the dad bod.
You do?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, I think I have the dad bod. I've got the whole middle going on.
Oh, you mean the middle part?
Yeah. Some dads have boobs.
Yeah, but
boobs are not good.
No, they're not good. But the dad bod. Well, the good thing is, if we think about encouraging each other, the way you encourage me by saying things like that.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
And if you're on a diet and your spouse is not on the diet.
I was making chicken fried steak tonight, but we're not going to have it. See, look how.
If you're on a diet and your spouse is not on a diet, it can be really miserable because you guilt me.
It's rough.
Well, but if I'm having like a piece of cheese and a little piece of meat, you're over there having, a big old lasagna or something.
Yeah, but look at my fat ass and look at your skinny ass. See, so it's my choice.
But what I was going to say is we need encouraging people in our life. Like I had my father who said that I was the fattest guy in the family and bought me running shoes. You have a unique mother who...
Which I hope she never finds this podcast.
She doesn't know how to do a podcast or listen to podcasts.
My mother loves me, but let me give you a little backstory on my whole situation.
Well, first off, your mother went from thin to fat to thin. And
my mom is tiny.
But I remember when she wasn't tiny, she worked so hard. I remember she made you walk when going into college, and she walked and walked and walked and walked. And then your father, this is one of those lessons, men, of how to not talk to your wife.
Yeah.
Theta Hall.
Husbandry.
Yeah. 101. Husbandry 101. Theta Hall
not the animal
went to the diet center, paid her fees, went to the club.
Lord, you had to eat asparagus for like 3 weeks.
And she walked every day. She worked hard. She had lost 30 pounds. And she was standing in front of your dad in the bedroom.
She's only 5'5", so 30 pounds is a lot for a little girl.
She lost 30 pounds, and your dad, in his encouraging words, looked at her and said, Theta, your boobs look small in that dress.
Man of faith and power.
Man of faith and power
yes.
said, your boobs look small in that dress. Well, that was the straw that broke the camel's back, because she just started. If you've not seen Suzanne's mother, she is a tornado.
She's a tiny little thing, but she can go
to 0 to 120 pretty dang quick. Your dad was not prepared for the reaction that your mother had at that point.
I don't think anybody in the house was.
Basically, it was
we all took cover.
GD John Hall.
Well, I don't know. She will never use that word.
Okay, chit. She would CHIT.
She
John
was
Hall.
angry.
I've lost 30 pounds, and all you can say is my boobs look small in this dress, and she lost it, and she was not.
We
not
all took
happy.
cover.
But your mom, because she struggled with her own weight, she was encouraging to you. She's always encouraged you. Has she ever told you that
she's encouraged me to not eat? She's encouraged. Do you remember Steve lived with us? Okay. And we had that stationary bike in the house. Mm-hmm. Steve would make me get on the bike. Like she had passed the torch to Steve and said, okay, now it is your mission to make sure that my daughter doesn't get, fat. Cause I came home from college the first year with not, what do they call it? The freshman 20. I came home with
freshman
a little
10,
more.
You made it 20.
Well, 25 or whatever. And he made me ride that stationary bike every day. And he'd say, on the bike. And I would have to get on the bike and ride it. But I was one of the only thin people in.
Your mom was like a helicopter mom, like one of those Asian
When it came
moms
to
before.
weight, yeah, it was. Yeah.
You guys are popular.
And I've
But she's
put her to shame now.
She's encouraging you. She always doesn't. She always
So
says, "Suzanne,
fat.
you look so good."
No, she'll say, "You're prettier than that."
Oh, she does. You're prettier than that.
Like, you're prettier than that.
Well, what was one of the more encouraging things that she said to you recently?
Well,
she
I don't know.
Well, she looked at you and looked at your belly and said,
"Oh, she's very concerned about my menopause belly."
And she goes, "Is that a tumor?"
No, she said, "Have you had that looked at?
Have you had that looked at?
Have you had a sonogram? Are you very sure it's not
Lord.
a tumor?" I said, "No, mother, I'm just fat. I'm just fat."
Well, we're fat and we're happy.
Yeah, I'd much rather be fat and happy than skinny and unhappy.
Now, if you think about it, though, we throughout our marriage, we have, like, when we first started in Nashville, I remember we wanted to lose weight, and at that
We
point,
always want to lose weight.
I know, but our friend Joy got me hooked on. Remember it?
Fen-Phen.
Fen-Phen. You had to get 2 pills, and boy, everybody was taking Fen-Phen. And then didn't people die from Fen-Phen?
Yes, people totally died. I had a friend who died.
Oh, I'm sorry. You had a friend who died of Fen-Phen. Were they fat or were they thin taking Fen-Phen?
They were normal fat and took Fen-Phen, and then they got sick. And
oh, that's sad. Yeah, and that was our last episode. It was a sad episode. So we're supposed to be happy.
yeah, we're not doing dead duty on this one.
The other thing is, whenever people, we're going to do a whole episode on jobs next. We're going to talk about all of our jobs and things of that nature. But all of our friends who've got sucked into MLMs, they're usually related to losing weight and looking good. You know, and
Yeah.
even like
Or cleaning.
well, but
Both of those things are
that's
not
gambling.
my.
But when it comes to getting thin,
of those
though,
are not my
the
forte.
MLM crowd has really found out a way, because they know everybody wants to lose weight, and this is about making you feel good. And whether you're a beach body, Life Vantage, whatever, stuff, MLM's like pushing the weight thing too.
I just, life is short, and I just want to eat.
Well, we have.
I just think food is good. Why does food have to be bad?
Can I tell you how many gyms that we have joined that we keep paying for over a year, and we still think we're going to go?
Do you know I got out of the last one because of COVID?
Oh, you did?
Totally. Absolutely. 100%.
They wouldn't let you quit
No, they wouldn't let me quit before. And then it was COVID, and I was like, well, we are in the house, and we are not going anywhere. And they had to release the contract.
Well, then we joined the country club because they had a gym.
No, we didn't. We joined the country club because they have a pool and they have delicious food. Again, with the food. See, the food is delicious.
Well, remember our very first wedding? Sorry, our very first
wedding. I don't know. I was only at one wedding.
Sorry. Do you remember our first Christmas, Suzanne, when I brought you that wonderful, thoughtful gift for every newlywed? I loved riding my bike, and I had a mountain bike, and I thought,
what was wrong with you?
I think that my wife will enjoy riding a bike with me. So I got all excited.
It was like you never met me.
Well, it was our first It was our first Christmas, and I did know you, and I knew that Steve Harper or Steve Thompson always told me you love to ride the bike at your house.
No, nice.
Said she would always ride that bike at the house. So our first Christmas, we're in that little apartment, and I was so excited because I had saved up the money to buy you your own bike.
It was an expensive bike.
And then I was like, oh my gosh, are you ready for your present? And you're like, yes. And we're having our present by the flock tree that you had to have.
Of course, it was the
And
best.
I walked it out from the second bedroom, and you looked at me and you said, it's a bike.
Seriously, it's like you didn't even know who I was.
Did you ever ride that bike?
I think maybe 3 times. I don't know. Did you give it to our niece, Christine? Did you give it to
she
her?
took my mountain bike because I didn't have a ride.
I don't know where that bike went. I just know I didn't ride it.
I didn't have a riding partner to ride my bike with, so I gave my bike away. I was hoping that my wife and I would ride together, and I see these couples walking by our house every now and then. I go, isn't that sweet? Maybe we should do that together.
Walk?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we should do that. We should do that. We should do all kinds of things, but we don't.
But I will tell you, body image, it used to all be about thin, and everybody's talking about Barbie, teenage girls always having Barbie and stuff. But as of late, the past 10 years or so, there's been famous models who were not thin, who were thick. I like thick women.
You like thick women because that's what you got.
No,
It's a thing.
no, but the older I get, the more I appreciate. I mean, I do. I look at some of these little tiny, thin, model-looking girls, and I wouldn't know what to do with them.
You bet you wouldn't know what to do with them.
But I like,
and that's a whole other episode.
I like thick women. I also, the people who know me know I like pregnant women too.
Yeah, you do. You love the whole idea of new life and
Well, I think it's because when we had our
pregnant women glow, the whole thing.
Yeah, I do love pregnant women. I can spot them from about 300 yards away, and I do. And I think it's because when we first got married, and when we got married, it was 7 years we were married before we had John Andrew. Is that right?
Yeah, a little more. Yeah, 7.
And
yeah.
nobody tells a man. I mean, because first off, I didn't enjoy our pregnancy because
You were so obsessive about the pregnancy. Like, I had to eat a certain thing, like out of a book. I had to sleep at a certain time.
I read a book about eliminating morning sickness and protecting your baby and all that kind of stuff.
When you get obsessive about something, though, you just don't let go.
You're right. But anyway, I was. If you know somebody who's pregnant, their husband right now is acting really cool and strong and excited, but inside he's scared that he's going to lose his wife and his child. And so I always had that fear like something was going to happen bad. And
so you were bossy?
Well, no, but just like you
were just really
it's false
bossy.
bravado. What I'm saying is I think the reason why I like pregnant women is because I didn't really get to enjoy our pregnancies. And because I was always nervous, stuff like that. So now that we're not the ones who are pregnant, and I see a pregnant woman, I'm like, I want to look at the dad and go, hey, like
it gets better.
Yeah. And what's funny is I remember the first time Dr. Churn, was it Dr. Churn?
He was
the first OBGYN that delivered. As soon as the baby came out,
Look at you remembering the doctor. How
about
sweet.
that? Well, there's a reason why I remember that doctor. But I remember as soon as the baby came out, he looked and he said, no, the reason why I remember that doctor is because you were on birth control when we first got married. And
yes,
like most women, and then, well, most non-Catholic women.
Oh,
now that
you're Catholic.
Now that I'm Catholic, I would not approve of this. But at that point in time, you were on birth control.
Okay.
And then you went to the doctor. You saw the Dr. Churn. Every Nashville woman loved Dr. Churn because he was this cute little doctor who had like the cool glasses and a bow tie.
He didn't have a bow tie. That was our.
But this is when that TV show Northern Exposure was out, and it was really cool to have that little short.
He was a little guy, yeah.
No, but that short, intellectual, cute guy was really in style.
Yeah.
And so Dr. Churn was exactly that. So all the women who went to Dr. Churn, the OBGYN, and got their hoo-ha checked out by Dr. Churn, thought he was cute. Well, we were married for 6 years. We decided it was time to start having babies, and you went off the pill. And the doctor said it's going to take about a year for this to get out of your body. Well, a year later, we still don't have a baby. And
my friends are having babies, and I'm sad, and I'm thinking there's something wrong with me, or something wrong with you.
Nothing's wrong with me. But so then.
Well, not that.
Yeah. So you asked me to go meet your doctor because after 7 years ago seeing Dr. Churn,
I was thinking maybe we were missing something in the equation.
I think you need to meet Dr. Churn. Why don't you come meet Dr. Churn? So I go into the doctor's office. 7 years you've been seeing this guy. First time I get to see Dr. Churn, he comes in and you go, Dr. Churn, I'd love for you to meet my husband, John. And he shakes my hand and he sits down and he goes, so how can I help you? And you said, well, we've been trying to have a baby and it's not happening. So I thought you may want to talk to him. And Dr. Churn looked at me and goes, I think he knows what he's doing. And
I said, well, it's not working.
It's not working. You might need to tell him to do something else. And I'm going, oh my God, I walked into this and he didn't know what to do. And he said, Suzanne, I told you it was going to take a year for your medication to get out of your body. And sure enough, a year to the day, pretty much, Johnny and we found out we were pregnant.
But see, I'm not used to that. I like to go into a situation and know exactly, like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to take care of it. You do it, you next and the next and the next, and it was not happening for me, and I was needing to know why, and that's just the reason.
Well, all I know is
we got him now.
We do have him now, and good old and then we had John Andrew, and then 2 years later, pretty much on John Andrew's birthday, somewhere there around, we were on a vacation. We went to Hawaii. Yeah,
because we went to Hawaii for his birthday,
for his 2-year-old birthday.
Yeah.
And this was in the time when John Andrew, he as a 2-year-old had the vocabulary of like a 6-year-old. And I think it was like the week or two before he was 2, and you could fly for. Remember, you could
You
fly,
could fly for free.
if you're under 2.
Yeah.
And we told him, do not talk.
I know.
Like,
and
want you
he
to be
said,
quiet.
why? And I said, that's the rule. The rule is
You're not allowed to talk in the airplane.
little boys don't talk while we're getting our
I was
tickets.
scared that they were going to be like, there's no way that boy is 2, because he was very.
He was
provoked.
really intellectual.
Yeah, he was. But what was interesting was we go to Hawaii, and you find out
I'm so sick
you
the
were
whole
sick,
time.
and we went and got one of those pregnancy tests, and you took it, and I remember you were overcome. Should I say? I'm not going to say you were overcome with joy, because when you found out that you were pregnant, you just started to bawl.
It was very unexpected.
And I'm like, and I'm thinking,
you know.
oh my gosh, she's so happy. And you're like bawling. I'll realize, oh wait, this aren't happy tears. These are sad tears. And I said,
wasn't
aren't you
sad I was pregnant.
Aren't you excited that we're having a baby? And you said, yes, but I just lost all the weight.
I was so skinny.
Yeah, it took 2 years to lose the baby weight, or a year and a half to lose the baby weight. And you were finally below where you were before you were
I
pregnant
was
with
looking
Johnny Andrew.
good. And
You
that's
were.
why baby number 2 happened. I
And
guess.
then after baby number 2, exactly. Yeah, so after baby number 2, then you didn't try so hard for baby number when Julianne came around.
Oh, well, Julianne was a whole Johnny Andrew thing again, because it was time. It was now or never, because I was old. They called it a geriatric pregnancy with her.
Well,
For crying
so
out loud.
when you're 35, they treat you as a geriatric patient?
Over 35, yeah, and I was 37. So I was considered a geriatric pregnancy. And I haven't lost any of her baby weight. None of her baby weight.
Well,
I've added to it. I've brought friends to the party.
once again, we have talked for over 30 minutes, 32 minutes about really fat and nothing and diets. And I think we should end this podcast and have dinner. What do you think?
Do I have to cook it?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I can go get something for us, but I'm doing a thing right now. On a future episode, our next episode, we're going to talk about jobs. But on a future episode, we need to talk about faith and religion, because I go to multiple churches, and as you say,
He needs a little more Jesus than most folks.
yes, I do need more Jesus than most folks. Yesterday, well, that's a long story, but I do need more Jesus. But on one of my churches, I'm doing a 90-day Lenten journey with a bunch of men, and I'm not allowed to have sweets or desserts or sugary drinks. You know, you can have like water, milk, tea, coffee is basically it. On Wednesdays and Fridays, I have to have fish, can't have meat. And then another church for Lent, so that's 90 days. So the 40 days of Lent, another church started the Daniel fast.
Oh, you're doing that too?
Well,
Lord,
so-
that takes out everything that you're allowed to eat on the other one.
Well, needless to say, I need to find a church that just endorses something else, like a
Like
smorgasbord.
potatoes.
Yes. But anyway, well, what's funny is I can do these fast and not lose any weight, but we're trying. So
We're not really trying.
we're not. Should we pretend like we're trying?
I don't know. I think I've just come to the decision that I'm 57 years old, and I used to be thin, and I made 3 people in my body. And this is what the Lord gave me. And if I'm healthy, then that's okay.
It is okay.
And if you love me, and you love me, don't you?
I do. I love you.
All right, then.
I love all of you.
Yeah, then we're all right.
Well, and I think as we wrap up this episode, I think that, yeah, I do love you. And I love every wrinkle on your face. I love every...
I don't have wrinkles.
You got one right there, though I always make fun of right in the middle.
That's not an old person wrinkle. That's a paw daddy wrinkle.
But I like all the lines on your face, and I like all the journey that our bodies have been through over the years, and I'm thankful for it. And I don't know if this is encouraging to you or not, but hopefully you can get to Suzanne's phase of being 56 years of age and 57 years of age.
No, you're 57. I'm
not
56.
57. I'm 56.
He's 57 almost.
But anyway, long story short, I hope that you can accept yourself. And Suzanne, thank you for letting us talk about this. One of the best things you can do, when you're eating, is listen to a podcast.
You would never know that man is in marketing, would you?
No, but one of the things you can do when you're eating, it's a good time to listen to podcasts. You can find the Marry Your Best Friend podcast on Amazon, Google, Apple, Spotify. What I would ask you to do is when you listen to us on a podcast, or even if you're a person who wants to actually see how large we are, feel free to go to YouTube.com. Go to YouTube, search "Marry Your Best Friend," or just search John and Suzanne. It will come up.
If we Google ourselves, what do you think it says?
Well, the great thing is about having a name John Stewart, who knows what you're going to find.
That's
but
true.
if you Google John and Suzanne or "Marry Your Best Friend" podcast, will probably come up on YouTube. But what I was saying is, if you're eating, especially if you're eating alone, a nice thing to do is play a podcast, and you can find us on Apple, Google, Amazon Music, anywhere you find podcast, and check it out. Do me a favor, hit like. It's kind of nice when we get little likes. We had a comment last week that some of the comments we get from people, we know them, and we go, "Oh, that's nice that Tracy's listening or Cindy's listening or watching this." And then it was somebody we had no idea who they were, and they said, "Thank you for normalizing." They were talking about their autistic child who doesn't want to leave the house, and so hopefully, if you watch this and we normalized what it feels like to own Spanx or have a wife that wants to fatten you up like a calf, then put us a note, hit like, or give us 5 stars, whatever you want to do. But I think that's it. Our next episode, we're going to talk about jobs. How many jobs have we had, and the best jobs, the worst jobs, all kinds of fun stuff.
That's going to be mostly you, I think.
You think so? You still, after 33 years of marriage, you have no idea what I do.
Nobody does. People ask me, and I just say, ask you.
Well, there you go. All right, join us on the next episode. We'll see you soon.